Hey guys, it's Billy from Men of Steel, and this is the first video I'm putting on the group, so it's just a bit of an introduction to myself and what the group's about, really. You'll have to bear with me if I pause for a moment or start to stutter. It's just a bit of nerves. I'm sure you can all understand. I mean, I'm not really one for putting videos out of myself, to be honest, but it's something I'm going to have to do if I'm going to achieve what I really want. Which is, of course, to end the stigma attached to childhood sexual trauma, especially in men. I feel that although it happens to men and women, there's much more open platform for women to talk about these issues without being judged or shamed or guilted. So I figured, why not take the stand myself? I'm not ashamed to talk about what happened to me anymore, and I want more of you to come forward and speak about what happened, because it's the only way it's ever going to get out of your head. I was 26 when I first came to terms with it and spoke about it, just after a failed suicide attempt. Not my only attempt. There'd been others previous that weren't quite as serious, but this time it was incredibly serious. I was sectioned and locked in a secure mental unit for a few months. I've been in and out of the mental health teams for the 4 years since. And all I can say is there is so much help out there. There's so much support out there. So many people out there that feel so similar to you. You are not alone. I felt alone for so many years. Thought it was only me. Blamed myself. Carried so much shame and guilt because I blamed myself for letting it happen. But when I looked back over my life and categorised everything and put everything into perspective, I realise it's not your fault. You were groomed, you were conditioned. Everybody's experiences are different. And whether it happened to you once, twice, every day of your bloody life, it is traumatising and it scars you mentally for the rest of your life. I don't think it's anything you ever really fully get over, but it is something you can come to terms with in yourself, and you can shed a lot of negative feelings towards yourself by just talking about it openly with other people who can understand. Now, it's not something you can share on other mental health groups because it's not something that affects a vast amount of people. Now, I've sought help in mental health groups for a few years, and although I get great support from people, it's very rare I come across somebody in my own shoes, and that's because people are afraid to talk about it. There's nothing to be afraid of anymore. They can't hurt me anymore. They will not hurt me anymore. I just need to stop hurting myself. And that's where support groups come in. We can talk to each other. We can listen to you. You can listen to me. We can share information and helpful tips. I didn't really start to take control of myself until I was 26 years old. March 2016, I quit my job of 10 years working for a man who I thought was a close friend. Turned out it wasn't that simple. But leaving him and starting to process what was going on in my mind really started to sort things out in my head. I'd been looking at things wrong for so long. Like I said, blaming myself. But how can you blame yourself when you was a child or a young adult being taken advantage of by adults, caregivers, close friends, family? The abuse for me started before I can even remember. My earliest memories are of abuse, severe abuse, sexual, physical, emotional. I was controlled, I was bullied, I was sexually assaulted numerous times by my biological brother, up until I was around 5 years old when he left the family home. But other abuse carried on. I was still being savagely beaten by my mother, manipulated, controlled, isolated, kept off school. Munchausen syndrome. I was taken to the doctors for so many tummy aches you wouldn't believe. A reason why I don't like going to the doctors now, because I think I'm not going to be believed, like they think it's a lie. Like it was a lie when I was a child and my mum was taking me for no reason. Munchausen syndrome by proxy? I'm not sure. But the troubles weren't just at home. I was bullied severely at school as well. Because I wasn't a normal child. I had issues, obviously, because of what was going on at home. And to be honest, I think I'm on the autism spectrum, which I'm still yet to be tested. A new psychiatrist is actually pushing forward for me to get the tests done, which is great. It'll put me at peace of mind, if anything. Savagely bullied at school, beaten up, put in bins, pinned down and pissed on. Awful name calling, and you know the story. So there was no safe space. I wasn't safe at home, I wasn't safe at school. And then as I started getting older, there was an incident where my mum came towards me to beat me at around age 13. And it was the first time I actually fought back. I wouldn't say I fought back. I pushed her away from me. And the shock and the surprise shocked her so much, she ran into her bedroom and shut the door and rung the fucking police on me. But she never hit me again after that. However, she did get married when I was 12. It's a horrible bloke. He was a bully. Horrible bully of a bastard. And they moved in his 18-year-old son. I was 13 when he moved in. And within 3 months of him living with us, his grooming, which I had failed to acknowledge or see, he had groomed me into performing sexual acts. And that carried on for almost 2 years. When I was 15, and I made some friends, some real friends, managed to get out of the hellhole. And even after that ended, at 15, I thought I was safe and free and clear. Great. I start to work for a bloke who I thought was a friend. I should have seen right through him. He was 40 and I was bloody 16 years old. What 40-year-olds want to hang around with 16-year-olds? He would have me round, get me pissed, drugged up. I'd be going to work full time for him for fuck all. Would work my fingers to the bone for naff all pay. But I still kept going to work. I thought he was a friend. He was taking advantage. Now this is the thing, if you do not acknowledge these things, you can be led into a lifetime of victimhood. And it's not your fault. Your brain gets rewired through trauma. And sometimes you only ever feel safest when you are a victim to an abuser. As awful as that sounds, it's true. Even after I came out of Great Oaks secure mental hospital in Scunthorpe, I shouldn't have been released when I was. And when I came out, I engaged in a short relationship with a woman who was another abuser yet again. I fell for it yet again. I had to leave her a midnight flit because she was going to kill me one bloody night, and I wouldn't fight back. Got myself out of there, got myself back home, started talking about my problems, started talking about what happened to me. And the more I talk about it, the less shame I feel, the stronger I feel, the less control over me they have. So, hopefully I haven't bored you with any of that. I'm just hoping that this group will attract these guys who have been through what I've been through to come out and talk about it. You're not alone. I think it's happened to a lot more men than they dare to admit. So please, if you or anybody you know is a male survivor of sexual abuse, please follow, like my group, get involved. Thank you. Men of Steel.